All right, so another week, so where are we at with Zach Wilson here? I would say it's another sort of baby steps type of week. Like, listen, our expectations for Zach Wilson have certainly lowered as the season has gone on, but we still continue to see some flashes. One nice thing, if you're a Jets fan, is that his PFF grade, which I know, PFF sucks, but just hear me out. His PFF grade has risen above 60, which doesn't seem like, kind of makes you think, okay, whatever. But you look at that 60 mark, and typically if a quarterback does not pass 60 their rookie year, they don't make it in the NFL. So he's past 60. So you've gotten past the benchmark now where he wasn't there prior to this week. So hopefully he can remain there for these past couple of weeks and at least get past that benchmark, which is a good sign, I think, moving forward. Also worth noting, Trevor Lawrence is not past 60, so that's another fun aspect. Maybe that's something I'll talk about in a different video. But for this one, there was some good, there was some bad, and there was some in between. So let's talk about it all, and let's do that by jumping into the film. So real quick, I want to just mention that there's still some negatives. The negatives for Zach Wilson are still there, and, we're seeing the typical negatives. We're also seeing some more new negatives as well, I guess. So this is an interesting one. Maybe it's not entirely new, but it's a little bit new. This is something that we haven't seen Wilson struggle with too much, where it's going to be a cover 2 zone, and there is a little gap in coverage, where this go route can work. It's a tough throw to make. I mean, these are high degree of difficulty throws, especially in the NFL. A lot easier in college. So, again, this kind of falls under the rookie mistakes thing, but it's also, I think, fair to say, we kind of are hoping that he will get to the point where he stops making these mistakes. And look at how, right when this play begins, again, right here, you see how this can work. It's possible to get this throw there. It absolutely is. But, of course, a safety could also run over and make a play on it. This is a tough throw to make. Wilson's going to try to fit it through that tight window, and he isn't able to do it. I mean, that's what happened right there. So we can sit here and say, well, it was a good defensive play. Also worth noting, it was not intercepted. It was ruled incomplete, but still could have been intercepted and, was not complete. Maybe it should have been a little bit higher as well. I think another real aspect, though, is Wilson didn't really plant his feet. There was kind of pressure a little bit underneath, and he kind of threw off his back foot a little bit. I would like to see him not do that. Yes, it's incredible what you can do and that you can get it that quickly while throwing off your back foot, but you get it there a little quicker and you're going to get a completion. Set your feet. That's something that has been an issue with Zach Wilson this season. We also saw this one, which was, we haven't seen as many of these, but this is still a missed throw that he should have made. That happened. And also something like this, which isn't going to be his fault, but it's going to be a drop pass. Another issue that's kind of plagued the Jets this season a little bit has been stuff like this. So, these things are still there. They're still on the tape. It's not as prevalent as what we've seen, so that's good. It's going down, but it does still exist. So, you'd like to see him clean that up. Now, again, I saw some positives. I saw some baby steps, if you will. This is going to be one of them, where it's going to be a zone coverage play. This is a, concept designed to beat zone coverage, where a lot of times what you want to do, there's several ways you could do it. Some players will have, or some coaches will have you make your read shallow to further deep. Typically, though, the route that ends up working is the one over the middle. And what I like about this from Zach Wilson is I feel like in the past, I've seen Zach Wilson just stare down the tight end running over the middle. That's what he's done. This time, he's not going to do that. Look at how when Wilson takes a snap, you're going to see that when he looks up, if he's staring down the tight end, then a linebacker can easily just sort of say, okay, that's where he's looking. I got to just watch his eyes, essentially. Well, now you look at Wilson, he's looking at the halfback who's running underneath. So because of this, it makes things a little bit easier. These are small things, but these are things you have to learn at the NFL level. So it's cool to see him starting to learn this stuff. He does eventually hit an open tight end. Again, these aren't high degree of difficulty plays, but it's something that's nice to see him do more frequently because he was struggling with this. And the thing about Wilson, and this is kind of what I keep saying about Wilson, is the part he doesn't have down is running an offense. The part he does have down is he's an incredible athlete. It's easier to learn how to run an offense than to become an incredible athlete. So that's why I still like a Zach Wilson type more than maybe someone else who has performed better than him this season. Like this one's another one, just going to be a good throw. Again, nothing too crazy, open receiver, but still hits him all that stuff good. So there is good stuff on tape too. And the last thing I want to talk about, this is surprising, but the running game was a real aspect for Zach Wilson. Maybe I shouldn't say surprising. I'm showing the, super long run here, which some people said, oh, he, faked as though he's going out of bounds. That's kind of not cool. I didn't see a fake. I thought that it was kind of just a misread by the Jaguars. That's what I saw, but maybe I'm wrong. This play is going to be another one where it's really just an athletic play by Zach Wilson, and this is part of his game, is, again, the athleticism of him. Maybe you don't think of him as like a Justin Fields, but I like this stuff, and what I really like is he's running quicker, too. He's being more quick in making these decisions, whereas early on, he was just taking longer to do it. This one's another interesting one where the way this play looks like it was designed is, I think it was designed to get an offensive lineman the ball, which these are always fun, but one of the issues is, okay, an offensive lineman's going to take longer to get across the field than a wide receiver is. That's probably going to happen. Look, as you see, Wilson does, run to play action, but it's not really working yet. It's going to work, and maybe you could argue Wilson should kind of just lob it up and hope that his player eventually gets open. That's what I would probably recommend if it wasn't a lineman, but it's a lineman. So do you really want to trust your offensive lineman in this spot? If you do, just sort of throw a floater to the right. I don't know. Also worth mentioning, it kind of looks, the way I paused it, like there's an open receiver in the flat, which is towards the bottom of the screen, all the way over to Wilson's right. There's a Jaguars player right behind him, so that's why it looks like that. So nothing else is open. So you can make the argument he should throw up a floater, but I like what he does instead. Look, he's going to use that athleticism and then eventually make a throw and hit a offensive lineman. You don't often see the offensive lineman catch the ball on the scramble drill, but that's pretty fun. And again, it's a play set up by his athletic abilities. So that stuff is very much, it's on tape. When you watch it, it's hard to avoid. So that's cool to see as well. I know some people are going to say, like, well, when your highlights are basically that you just scrambled around and were able to, get a couple of runs, that's not great highlights. And I would probably agree. Like, I would rather see him do other stuff that's going to work. But, especially considering the fact that this is the last time he's realistically going to get to play a bad defense. You play Tampa Bay and Buffalo to end the season. Maybe Buffalo will rest starters, who knows. But, because still a lot could happen between now and then. But, at least you got to see some flashes again. People keep saying that, oh, Zach Wilson needs to show more flashes. Like, not really. What he needs to do is show more consistency. The flashes have been there. The flashes are kind of all we've gotten from Wilson. I know the numbers, again, for the game aren't spectacular. Only 102 yards, and he still threw the ball 22 times. So under 5 yards per attempt is never good. But I still thought that he did, something solid. Wasn't his best game. Wasn't his worst either. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about Wilson. Basically, we're probably just not going to know that much about Wilson until next year, probably. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.